Hello, everybody. Welcome to this amazing creation with a very special guest I'm so grateful to have here today. I'm Jenny Lynn Coley. I'm a CFMW, and we're live right now in the Access Consciousness North America group, as well as in the 10 weeks of receiving a fucking body process challenge group. And I started this challenge really a few years ago in different forms and variations out of my gratitude for the amazing gift that the Access Consciousness body processes are. I ended up creating a fun little car accident after a class with Gary, and it was level 2, 3. And now it's called COP. Everybody calls it COP, Choice of Possibilities. But he asked me a question, and I was really looking at when we play with these tools and when we tap into what we're aware of and we ask questions and we look at, is something true for you, light and expansive usually, or heavy for you, that's generally a lie. And there's different ways you can play with that. But I had just taken a rewrite of the foundation class. And I, at that time, felt like my light and heavy was broken. And I couldn't perceive in the same way I had decided I could tell what was light and heavy for me anymore. And it changes, right? As we expand and as we become more and we're willing to be more present with where we're functioning from. And so I got up on the mic and I asked him a question, and I was like, Gary, my light and heavy is broken. And I could perceive really well before what was true for me and what's not. Now I get that it's all just choice, but I'm not perceiving anymore. And in his Gary fashion, he wedgied me and said, well, would you like the featherlight touch of awareness, or would you prefer the 2x4 upside your head? And of course I was trying to get it right and said, of course I'd like the featherlight touch. And I was asking some questions about leaving my job and just making some changes. Single mom, had a lot of points of view, a lot of conclusions around that at the time. And less than a month later, I created a car accident on my way to work. Rear-ended, didn't make any sense. I was like stopping at a yellow light. The lady just wasn't paying attention behind me. And I was able to drive away. I created a concussion though. And so I went straight to work thinking I was fine. They're like, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And they sent me home, and I never ended up going back to that job. So that was like not a kind way to create that, right? Now when I'm looking at things, I definitely ask for more ease, please. But the gift that came out of that is I actually started receiving bars and body processes a lot more. I did a 30 days of bars challenge, and then started hosting trades, doing 10 weeks of bars, eventually later 10 weeks of MTVSS, which is like, to me, kind of like what the bars are to the head for the body. And it's just a really yummy go-to body process that you can use for so many ways the body is, not working in the way that it could be. 10 weeks of facelift, different ones played with over the years. And so this year, decided to kind of play with all of the body processes because they're so yummy in their own way. So this year we're doing 10 weeks of receiving a fucking body process, and really wanted to invite people to really perceive the gift that these tools are, that the body processes are, and that amazing 3-day body class facilitators are as well. And so that's how we're here today. Welcome, Kass. Thank you for saying yes to being here. And I'm super grateful because you were actually my second 3-day body class facilitator when I took my class. And you're one of what I consider the Access OGs. You've been around for a minute, right? And for people, if that's an American saying, OG, original gangster. So she's an original gangster of consciousness in my book.
Definition.
You're welcome. She's been around for a minute, and I know that you were really instrumental in expanding access into Europe and many languages and different countries, and communication strategist, and just a beautiful, delicious energy and a delicious invitation to just create a life of ease. So again, thank you for being here. And if you just want to share with us, like, what is it about the body processes for you and about being a 3-day body facilitator that you've noticed can really open up and expand and change more for people in the creation of their lives?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. And I love your story. I have like 20 things, of course, to say about not your story, your sharing, your experience. And what was your question? Because it was
There was a lot
just
in there.
excited about
Just
being here with you. Oh, well, one of the things that's about these 3-day body classes, facilitating them, and I've been facilitating them, all around the world for about 10 years, is meeting delicious and delightful people. And also being the invitation for them to recognize how delicious and delightful they are. So I'm very thrilled to have been in Colorado with Ratandeep Singh from India, having him uh, influencing him, come on, encouraging him, let's say, to get his 3-day body class facilitator's license because he had been and hosted me in so many classes in India. And so it was so delightful to be there. Also, lots of people, delicious and delightful people there in Colorado. And I love your story, you're sharing, and it's not even a story because you're when you say it, you're present every moment with it. So that's not pressing the play button. And yeah, I love to say just something about that. That with these tools of access, you know, um, it's so easy without the tools of access to not be present. It's so easy without the tools of access to not recognize when you're not present. But with the tools of access, you become more present and or have more presence and notice the millisecond that you're not, right? I always said that to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, and Dr. Dane here, the co-creator. I said, look, I think you should put a warning on these manuals that says you're asking to perceive more, you're going to perceive more.
mm,
Warning,
yes.
you're asking to know more, you're going to access more of your knowing. You're asking to be more greater, you are going to be more and greater, and you are going to receive infinitely. Warning, warning. You ask for it, you've got it. And it's not a Toyota. That's an old. Yeah. So when you were talking about also that you know the accident, it's like, what are the choices that we make to actually change what the to invite the change that we've been asking for, you know and so perhaps being present, especially if you're like a con- mind control freak like I had been and can be still.
I've never
um
been that.
probably you're not. I'm just using that as an example. um, then when you're being present, you can't do that leap. How do I leave this job? How do I, you know what I mean? And so, and as Dr. Dane says, it never shows up the way you think it's going to show up. So this accident, as you call it, is it an accident or was it actually the leap that you were asking for? And not only because you got to leave the job, but also because you share that when you're telling people, and how much does it give people the awareness, right, of some of the things that they may have been judging or be judging about what they've done when they've not been present, or when something has gone on, something has quote unquote happened. You're recounting that, perhaps can invite people, and maybe me sharing it this way can invite people to recognize some of the things that they have um, judged, discarded, that actually they have been the source of creation of something, and the perhaps the universe has that creation waiting for them on a silver platter. So anyone who thinks you've done something wrong, ask the universe. Okay, universe, what's right about this? I'm not getting one of the tools of access. And what is the change I've been asking for that is perhaps showing up in a different way than I expected? Yeah. And so just amazing. Anyway, love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I probably will share it as well because it's nice to share. It's not just what we experience, it's also sharing what other people have experienced and how they've created the change in their life. And you're doing these 10 weeks. I love it. Hello. Yeah. And the also, I just wanted to say, I mean, this is all about the body, also letting you know. I just wanted to say that, um, that light and heavy that you were saying, like having the awareness of what's right for you, what's true for you, what's not, right? And it is, you said it is sometimes just about choice, and a lot of times the heaviness of that heavy and and the lightness of that light is a little bit different, right, than the space that is you and that connects you and your body and the all the space in your body with the space outside of your body and in the universe. So that light and heavy, and I talk about that in my 7 steps to flawless communication book. That step 2 is about talk to your body, right? And knowing when your body is light, it's a yes. When it's heavy, it's a no. When it's just a space, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, and that's not logical, And the body, it's like, whoa, boom, boom, and so the body processes of access, and I love that molecular terminal balance sloughing system (MTBSS) as well. I know when Gary Dane and now Simone Melissa's, yay, do the advanced body classes, and Grace Douglas, who did one last August here in Rome, then the advanced body classes, there's so many of the body processes, and when one guy here in Italy would participate in them, he'd come and want to do advanced body process exchanges with me years ago. And I was like, I would really love the MTBSS. And he's like, what are you talking about? That's in the foundation, blah 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 blah. And I said, well, ask my body. And he's like, okay, truth, right? Like, man, your body's asking for MTVSS. So it's a wonderful, wonderful process, and I love that you were doing that for 10 weeks, and doing so many. So usually twice a month. I was doing them for years, and thankfully we've got lots of people now that are stepping up and becoming 3-day body class as facilitators. So I'm doing one a month. At the end of the month, I'll be going to Paris and then to Brazil in September and then to Maryland in October. So once a month, I'm still doing them. And one of the huge gifts that goes beyond one into oneness is being the invitation for people that you are physically present with, and that is a class you need to be physically present with, to acknowledge the friendship, the lifelong friendship that their bodies are, you know, and to receive from their bodies. A lot of times we're judging our bodies. Oh, why are you looking so fat? Oh, why are you looking so old? Are you looking tired? Or this? Come on, body, do this, do that. And that's not talking to your body. That's not talking with your body. That's talking at your body. So the invitation for us to listen to our body, and to enjoy the world of awareness that our body gifts us, and we're engaging with it without any barriers, without any, judgments or conclusions, or our DJCC's decisions, judgments, computations, and conclusions. How much our body gives us awareness about everything, not only in our lives, not only with our bodies, but in the world and beyond. It's really, really cool. So being the invitation and perceiving that shift after, day 1.5, that people find their way of communicating with their body, through their bodies, and with this planet and with the universe. And it warms my heart, and it's a gift to my body being um, in the 3-day body classes and the advanced body class, which I will do after this Paris class with Dr. Dave. Yeah.
Yum. Yum.
Again, I just did the same thing in Croatia in March, 3-day body class with Vladika and Dr. Glenna Rice, and now I'm doing another one with Dr. Glenna Rice in Paris, and then right after, the day after, we're in a 3-day advanced body class with Dr. Dave. Las más es posible.
Yes. I haven't been in an advanced body class actually in a little bit, and so I'm excited to do another one for sure. And um, one of the things I notice for people sometimes is they're like, "Oh, I already had that class, or I already took that." And one thing I'm noticing a lot more for myself, especially, is like I've received, even though I did, chose what I chose before, I have received so many different body processes this year that I hadn't really quite played with in that way before. And especially in that short period of time. And like, I do these 10-week challenges every year. Like, I love the body processes. I love how Gary says, like, if you will do these body processes, you will get more change than you're willing to have. It just like undoes all that stuck judgment and points of view that's like locked into the cellular memory of our bodies. Like, and when people have asked me over the years, where do I start? Access is so overwhelming and there's so many things. It's like, okay, one, ask, you always know, right? Like, trust what you know. And two, whatever you do, like, get in an individual body process class, take foundation, get to a 3-day body class, like, play with the body processes. So I already really had a gratitude and appreciation for them. And it has like exponentialized over the last 6 months with just receiving so many different ones, like noticing how much my body is changing, my life is changing, the way people around me are responding to me are changing. And I recently actually just retook Essie, and I was like, this is a completely different class. Like, it was like a completely different process. And so can you sort of like speak to that some around people who might have that point of view that, oh, I already had that.
Right. Well, I mean, I totally get that. We think that we've already had something, and who we were before had that. But once we've had it, we've changed into somebody else. So having it again is going to be different because we're different, right? Every day. And that's why we ask that question, who am I today? You know? And it's not just about access, the scientists, later tell us that, every 21 days your cells are changing. So, you if you woke up yesterday and you woke up today, then you're definitely somebody different today because you lived through yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
everybody wakes up today.
True.
So that's one thing. But I do get that, you know, even with the foundation, for example, like I just finished a foundation class. I did one online. I'll be doing another one live in Milan in October. But I do them often. Every time, Jenny, every time it's different. Every time it's different. Not and yes, of course, because the people who are in the class are different, and you know what I mean, and the year is different, the time is different, but also the tools, And as Gary says, you get it when you get it, and seeing and perceiving something so simple, right? As these 4 questions or creation, these 4 elements of creation: question, choice, possibilities, contribution. I'm telling you, okay, it was like 2005, my first foundation in COP, right? And my bars, I got it like 2002, 2003, 2004. I know that question, choice, possibilities, and contribution. But like last year, I heard it in a different way. I heard it in a different way, ask a question. And that's what you can tell people: ask a question. What is it that will create more for me and my life and my body now and in the future? Truth. Is it a bars class? Oh, but I'm a bars facilitator. Why would I take a bars class? Don't ask why, because it'll keep you going in circles. Okay, I'll take a bars class, and maybe you're going to meet somebody there, that you have, known before, or that is going to give you an inspiration that, or that will, create more in your life. It never looks the way you think it's going to look, as Dr. Dane says. So ask the question. But if you're not truly connected with your body, and you can share with people, look, I had just done a COP class, and I was connected with myself, and I had a car accident. So sometimes you disconnect. So the more you do it, the more you connect, and you can show them your photo now and say, see, and you look like a teenager, like I do. Because, are you willing to get more joy, more ease, more glory in your life? So the more, so it's never too much. It's never too much. And some people are really structured, and that changes, and that's okay. So if they're like, oh, I've already done it, or taken it already, and I don't want to take it again. Okay, cool. I've only taken it 20 times, so I'm just going to take it again because it's working for me. But you're not making them wrong. You're just sharing with them how it changes for you,
Right.
and maybe it'll also change for them, because the more you are willing to connect with you and your body, and listen to your body will let you know what is it. I mean, you're a CF, or all these things you could be, and you get, let me go to a bars class. Let me do the global bars class. I did that last year. I'm going to do it again with Dane in a couple of months. A couple of weeks. Let me go in October. Let me go to the bars class. What gift would that be for me? You know, so there's no demand of what people do, but these body processes are such a gift. There's no right way or wrong way to do them or receive them, and each and every one of us receives them in a different way. I remember once at a ESB class with Dr. Dane here in Rome. There was a guy who, during the break, we did an exchange, and he did a body process on me. This was years ago, and Jenny, I received more than I had ever received before. And I was like, oh my goodness, at the end. Thank you so much. I received so much. Thank you so much. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's because I'm good. And I was a little shocked. I was like, you could be the best, but if I'm not willing to receive, it's not going to be the same for me. And that's what we acknowledge, that we are actually willing to receive and grateful for our beings, our bodies, our minds that went on a little vacation for a minute. So it really is something that the more you're doing these body processes, the more you're in the class, dedicating 3 days, or even 4 hours, or even 10 weeks to you, your life, your body, and the change is really a goddess and a God gift that you are being for you.
You are such a beautiful communicator. Like, I could just listen to you for hours.
Thank you for receiving.
And I love, and John Ashford said good morning. Good morning, John. Sorry.
Oh, hello, John.
I loved what you said about receiving, because, like, all of this really is about receiving. And the touch from the body processes is about inviting the body to learn how to receive again.
It's a kindness, and it's a simplicity, And I love that Gary says, this is the body process classes, and the body processes are hands on the body, you know. And sometimes people aren't, because the body likes to be touched. And sometimes whatever has gone on in the life before, people may not initially be comfortable with that. But up until now, uh, everyone that has not been comfortable being touched in a 3-day body class at the beginning, by day 2, they are more comfortable being touched. And so the body, how often have we been touched, maybe not in a kind way, And with these body processes, you actually become aware before someone touches you if it's going to be a gift to your body or not.
Yeah.
Tell you this about this. Once I was hosting a ESB in Rome, and after they took Dr. Dane out to lunch, and we came back, and he's on the stage, and I'm supposed to go up on the stage and translate. At the time, it was sequential translation, and this really cute guy comes in, right? And one of the gals says from Rome, she said, "Oh, he's a fabulous massage therapist." I'm like, "Oh," with my mind, "Oh, good, he's cute." I don't have to sleep with him. I get my hubby, but I could have a massage from this cute guy. You know, there's, there's no question in there. So anyway, I go up on stage, translate, come back down, and at a certain moment, my body like freezes, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And this guy taps me on the shoulder. "So when would you like your massage?" And my body's saying to me, "Don't
Mm.
let him touch you, please." And I was like, uh, I don't have time at the moment. And the moment I said that, there was a relaxation in the mind. So if your body does not like to be touched, perhaps your body has been touched in ways that are not um, comfortable with your body or not a gift. So the more you connect with you, the more you begin that dialogue. It's more than a one-way street. Buddy, take the massage from this cute guy. It's more than a one-way street. Dialogue. Hey, buddy, would this be fun for you? And when your heart starts lightening up and it starts expanding your chest, and a smile comes either inside or outside or both, then it's a yes. It's a space of yes. And if it's a no, you don't have to understand why. Just honor your body, and you can and will receive more energy than you've been willing to up until now. Yeah, up until now. That's my Delhi phrase, my India Delhi phrase. Up until now.
Up until now. I love it. I love
Like,
it because, like,
who I am. I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm not this. And I said, just say up until now, so you let the universe know that's what it's been in the past. I'm willing to change it. Yeah.
yeah, I love that too because it's like we tend to choose a lot of things based off our reference points, right? The things we are avoiding that we don't want to have happen again, or the things, that we've decided they work, right? Like, oh, he's cute.
Exactly.
I want him to touch me and give me a massage. And then your body's like, wait a minute.
The mind, and those distractor implants, I just finished my foundation, so those distractor implants, it's like doing, and I love those distractor implants because when you recognize that you're distracted, it's like, oh boy, I must have an awareness. Must be an
Mm-hmm.
awareness somewhere. So if I weren't being distracted, but let me take 10 seconds and be really distracted. Enjoying this distraction. I'm not judging you, distraction. I'm just, and then, okay, awareness, come on. Yes or no. And that's the dialogue and the play. What is the joke? I always ask people to play with this. What's the joke that you can tell your body? And that you can play with your body, that only you guys would laugh, you and your body would laugh, and some people are like, why are you always, once I was in oh, are we done? Are we supposed to finish?
No, no,
Okay.
no. We have.
Okay. Once I
That's why
was
we moved it earlier so we had space.
in, you must know me a little bit. Like, honey, I don't think 15 minutes is going to work. And then get Dr. Dane's, thing coming up soon. So, but once I was in the south of Turkey, right, and this gal I'd done a 3-day body class, and this gal, I just love this. This gal who was there, she's like a big, businesswoman who was in the body class. She introduced me to this woman who does readings of the Quran, and her husband's a big political guy. And she said, "You talk to her about access. Tell her about access." So we go, and the initial conversation of to people, And she said, "How do you like it here?" And it was at the beach. I said, "Oh, I love it here. My body loves it here." And I mentioned my body like 3 times, maybe I do that a lot. And she says, "You keep talking about your body. What is your body to you?" It's an awesome question, isn't it?
Mhm.
What is your body to you?
Mm. I don't think I've ever heard anyone ask it quite like that with those
E-
words.
Exactly, exactly. And I said, "Thank you so much for that question." I said, "My body is my lifelong friend, you
Mm.
know? And that's what our body is. What body has been in your life every moment?
Just
Hmm.
this one.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she said, if you when you leave the body when you die, would you choose to come back in another body?
Mm.
And I said, thank you so much for that question too.
Mhm.
And I said, if the contribution that I can be is greater while in a body, then yes, I would come back in another body. And I said, thank you so much for that question because I know that perceiving the tools of access, right? Receiving the tools of access, but not having Gary Douglas in a physical body when I did, I'm not sure that I would choose so much that I've chosen
Mm.
over the last almost 20 years. So I'm really grateful that he chose to come as the infinite being he be to come and be present in a body too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when somebody is asking you a question that seems, see what it is that it gives you access to, that and your body access to, and so that you have really a different comfortability in your body in your life, and it's fun and fun and fun.
Yes, the fun.
Change, change the clearing statement and added POVADs.
Mm.
We might change the we might add the word fun to the mantra. What ease, joy, glory, and fun.
Mm.
All of
I
life
like
comes
that.
to you with ease, joy, glory, and fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has a slightly different energy than joy.
Well, actually, if what came to me is if all of life comes to you with ease, joy, and glory, then you're having fun.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I
It's
love it.
already,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Even with like the stuff that's not fun, right? Like the tough that's the stuff we judge, right? As like bad or wrong. You can
Well, I
still
mean,
have fun with it.
absolutely. Well, do you do sports
I used to.
and workout and stuff like that? I mean,
I move
you
my
know,
body.
what do you?
I
Yeah,
I don't I don't move it.
what do you?
I'm being
Because
completely
sometimes
transparent. I don't move it
at the
as much as
beginning,
I would like to.
it's not what we defined as fun. What is it that is fun that we haven't defined as fun? That if we were willing to, receive it, perceive it, know it, and be it,
Mm.
life would be a dream. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes,
cool.
yes,
So
yes.
anyway, the body processes are different for each and every one of us, and I remember this gal was asking me about a body process. We were in a 3-day body class, and she said, "Could you, explain that to me?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, Gary would fire me if I explained
Mm.
the body process. So no, I'm not going to explain it." But I didn't say that to her. But I did say, why don't you run the process first, and then when you're done, let's share what we know about it, what we received. And I
Mm.
was so happy, not to be fired by Gary Douglas, but also, but also, this was in Turkey. What she shared with me from her perspective, and I knew that body process. I'm gonna tell you, I knew that body process so well. I gifted it so many times. I received it so many times. It had been in the manual for a while, and what each and every one of us, and this is why we don't always have a description on the body processes in the manuals. What each and every one of us perceives, knows, invites, and opens up when we run those processes is a gift. is really quite a gift. And of course, with MTVSS, which has been around for years, there's some examples of what people have done with it. And so, please, when you run the body process, as Gary says, don't think, oh my goodness, it's not what Gary's written down or Dane has written down in the body manual. So, therefore, what I'm perceiving is not true or real. No, no, no. Each and every one of us has our unique brand of magic. And the space that you, once you're willing to receive it, you open up the space for so many more of us to access it and receive it as well. Yeah.
Yes,
Is
yes,
that
yes.
too complicated?
No, not at all. It's actually quite simple the way
Good.
you said it. And it's those simple things we like tend to avoid, right? We're like, give me the magic secret sauce, give me like the advanced thing. And it's like those basic, simple like tools are like really what opens up the change.
Absolutely. And that is why it seems, every time that's something new. I don't know if you've probably heard that before once when Shannon O'Hara, who runs the Talk to the Entities program, she once called Gary and asked him in the foundation manual, look, I've never seen this before in the years ago. And it was in the foundation manual. You know that, right? I've never seen this before. Did you sneak in like a in with with a bird and a fairy and put that in my manual in the middle of the night because I'd never seen it before? And you get it when you get it. It becomes visible to you when you get it. And what I was saying about that questions choice is possibilities and contribution is sure when you ask a question, lots of different choices show up for you, right? You have a lot of different possibilities, and when you choose something, different possibilities come up again. And then when you choose what is going to be a contribution to you, right? But Gary said, when you ask a question, and the universe gives you awareness of the different choices and possibilities you have, then you are being a contribution to the universe if you're willing to receive that awareness.
Mm.
Now, you probably already know that. But for me, it was like, wow, it's not just about, you know, you receiving a contribution. It's also about you being a contribution if you're willing to receive the awareness that comes up once you ask a question. And it's just amazing. And then once you choose one of those possibilities that works for you, then you receive the contribution as well. So, I mean, it's simple, and we've had it for many years, and
Mhm.
yet each and every time there's something new that shows up. Yeah,
Mhm. Even just with you saying that now, like there were so many energies that I was perceiving in such a new and different way, hearing you say it. And it's beautiful because it's like that's what contribution is, right? True contribution is simultaneous gifting and receiving. So
absolutely,
as you're receiving, you are also gifting and you are being the contribution.
absolutely, and it's beyond your mind.
Hmm.
What you think is a contribution. No contribution. No contribution.
Right? Like what does Gary say? Once the mind is out of the way, then you're free to
Exactly.
play. Right? Thank you very much, mind. You're
Absolutely.
fired.
Absolutely. And anyway, with these body processes, the amount of pressure or something is not relevant. So if ever there's somebody who doesn't really is not yet receiving, right, the touch, which is a little different than the SOP sessions and other things, and even with our SE and our EMT sessions, sometimes it's like the amount of that you're pushing or stretching, But with the body processes, it's different. It's not. It has nothing to do with not touching or the way you're touching. It's just connecting with the body in a way that is a pleasure, as they say in South Africa, a pleasure, pleasure.
I love that.
The body, I love it too. My body loves to hear that word, pleasure. You say thank you to them, and they say pleasure. Not it's my pleasure or it's a pleasure. They say pleasure. So I say thank you for everything. Good morning, thank you, pleasure. There's a 7-day coming up in South Africa. Have you been?
No, I'm looking at that one though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Go on back to Africa, baby. Hey, it's Africa. Hey, it's Africa. I did a song, but yeah, I haven't. I know you know the 7 Steps with You. Haven't seen the Dancing with Riches book yet, have you?
No, I was looking though. You have a launch coming up for that in October, don't you?
Also in different. It's now in English. So
Okay.
and in Spanish, it's being in step with the energy of change using the Access Consciousness tools. So it's in French. So it's with a French publisher, an English American publisher out of Philly, out of Pennsylvania. Yeah. Anyway, and it's in Spanish on the Access site. It's coming out in Czech and stuff. But I did a song. That's what I want to say. With this guy, we did a song on Dancing with Riches, talking about the tool. So it's going to be coming out in September. So
Nice.
it's great. It's a motivational song. Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, you create so many amazing, wonderful things that are such a contribution. So tap into anything you can with Kass because she's phenomenal. And I love the whole notion of Dancing with Riches too. Just like there's a playful energy that you just be with everything. And also, as we were talking about bodies, like if we didn't have a body, we wouldn't require money, right? So money is for our bodies to create ease as we be here, in this embodiment on this planet. So, even playing with Dancing with Riches can contribute to our bodies.
Absolutely, and how to become money is a joke because we already are money. That's who we are. So
Yeah.
that's what and who we are. And the riches aren't just about money. It's about the riches of our life. You know, dancing with riches, the riches of your life, and acknowledging what those are. So it's really like a how-to book, and do a workshop on it too, on business and how to recognize what your talents and abilities are and what really is in line with your vibration, and therefore be in movement, which is like a dance, with what your talents are, what your riches are, what your life is. Dancing with riches, the way.
Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, right? Even more expansive than what I was even picking
Yeah,
up on.
and our body is one of the riches of our lives, and the molecules and cells are always dancing around. So, are we willing to be in rhythm with that vibration that we are and raise it? Yeah, yeah,
Yum, yum, yum. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Thank you so much again for just being the contribution that you are on the planet, the contribution that you've been to like expanding access and these body processes so we can all gift and receive them more as well. And for being on here with us today. And I know you kind of mentioned them earlier. You have a class coming up with Glenna in Paris next week.
Paris, you have to say it like this, baby. You have to say it with a French
Let me see if I can
accent.
do it.
Paris.
Paris.
Oh,
I gotta
ouais.
practice. I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
practice. So yeah, you have that class coming up next week. It starts on the 31st of August, correct?
Oh, yes. You know so well. Yes, that is true.
Oui, oui.
Yes. We're the 31st of August to the 2nd of September, and Dr. Dane is doing the ABC from the 3rd to the 5th in Paris. And the beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, don't go to that beautiful city and have any of that yum, but
No,
it won't be any fun at all.
no, exactly.
and more. So I'll make sure to
Enjoy,
put
yes.
put the
I'm
links in
going to
the chat.
Brazil.
Oh yes, you're going to Brazil.
Paulo. Yes, it's close to you. I think if you just drop down from with a parachute from Colorado, you probably might get to Sao Paulo. I don't know.
I could play with my 9 trannies, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Translocation, let's
Yeah, I'm
go.
so excited. It's the 16th through the 17th through the 19th of September. There in Sao Paulo. Please come. I love it. And then in Maryland with Betsy McLaughlin
Oh,
from
she's so delightful.
Delicious and Delightful from the
Yes.
7th to the 9th, of October. So yeah,
Awesome.
awesome.
So lots of possibilities to play.
Yeah,
I'll make sure to put
November
the
in
links
Turkey,
in.
November in Turkey, and we'll see. Maybe in Rome in December. We'll see.
Mm,
I would love to see you somewhere around the world, my girl. So please,
yes.
and everyone, bring your bodies because I see you everywhere, anywhere. But bring your bodies.
Yes. I would love to see you again soon,
Yeah.
and I'll put the links down in the comments so you can connect with Kass and see all her amazing, lovely upcoming creations and classes. And like what gift can you be to your body and receive from your body in choosing more communion with it, and also inviting in the play of these amazing body processes.
Yes, yes.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody. Thank you,
you.
Kass, so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Arrivederci. Au revoir. Buenos
Adiós.
dias.
Hasta luego.